welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the location for today's race. The cars are out on the grid, so let's join the action down on the track. At 2,285 meters above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners then make a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking into the braking zones of Turn 1 and Turn 4.
Okay guys, here we go. So for the start of this Mexican Grand Prix with APPF1 Tier 1 drivers, here's our qualifying results and the starting grid as it's going to be. Those will be starting on pole in the McLaren. You got Orange starting second on that grid. Live there starting third in the Ferrari. Speed Alcoholic, of course, qualified for P4 with the Steam starting lead, so that should be an interesting one. SW in the Red Bull starting P5. Rick starting 6th. MX will start 7th. We got Mendez starting 8th. Dave in 9th, Womax will start in 10th, LB Racing starting 11th, 12th for Tito there at the moment, 13 is where Blair will start, 14th for Scaparo, Braden 15th, and Tino's of course will be starting 16th on the grid in Aston Martin. We're going to head on track and have the grid sorted and then get into the start of this race. We got 5 lights and they're off, guys. Let's see who gets a better start between Orange and Ghost. Ghost looks like he's getting away pretty well away from the Haas at the moment here. The Ferrari, of course, trying to get side by side, and the McLaren Speed Alcoholic in the middle of that. Of course, it's going to get quite crowded into turn 1. Let's have a look. Do we have any major incidents about to happen here? Looks like they're trying to keep it as clean as possible, trying to give each other enough room as they all get through pretty well so far from what we can see happening. But of course, we got Ghost in front. He's getting away the best here at the moment with just free air in front of him and trying to keep that Ferrari at bay at the moment. Life up into second though here. Speed Alcoholic up into third. Orange has lost 2 positions of the start of this race so far. We got MX running in 5th there at the moment. So both Haas currently 4th and 5th on the grid. Unfortunately for the start that Orange had, kind of a good start for Life, I would say, in the Ferrari as he gets up into second. Speed Alcoholic, of course, trying to follow along with his teammate there, so he's currently third. Possibly going to try to improve that position as much as he can going through the rest of the session here. So that's bring this on. Let's have a look at tires at the moment and what they started on here and what the strategy play might be with the drivers. You got Blair is the only driver who started on the softs apparently, and some very close gaps still as we continue on with this. It's a 210 gap between Orange and the McLaren, our Speed Alcoholic, and I'm quite sure he's looking for get back and overtake to try to get back his position further up the grid. Of course, not going to be easy by the McLaren in front. So let's see how much longer that's going to be hold on through as you get back on to that start finish straight, heading back into turn 1 once again for the second time here at Mexico. It's going to be a 36 lap race, of course, guys, so it should be a quite an interesting session. Of course, race pace time just over a minute or so for a minute 20 something seconds average for a lap time here, where the car is heavily fueled at the moment as they start to get fast as we get further down to the end of the race session. But so far so good on the race start there. I think we have all 16 drivers still in this session and still going. We might have had maybe some minor contact on the back of the grid, but I think everything seems fine so far from what we can see happening here. On Lutinos in the Aston Martin here, following behind MX in the Haas. Looks like he has a pretty close gap, trying to work his way around that as much as possible. Go down further on the grid order here. We got Rick in the Mercedes. He's following on with I think with the Williams of it, just in front of him there. Yep, he is. Has a bit of a gap to Scaparo behind, so I don't think he's too worried about that. He's trying to follow along for an outside move and might have to switch it back around. A bit of contact between him and the Williams as he tries to get ahead. Doesn't work, but he's gonna have to just hold it back on the racing line, but he's pushing as much as he can for this position, and they're definitely having some more contact as they go through. Not sure if any wing damage has happened there as yet. As if I'm not even sure if they're trying to give each other enough room on this, but they're pushing as close as they can with the gaps here. There goes the Mercedes on the inside around that final turn onto that start finish straight. It's going to be a side-by-side battle with them going down into turn 1. The Williams seems to have a faster pace at the moment, but the Mercedes pulls on behind to use the sleeping advantage as there is no DRS as yet, as we're still on the opening 3 laps of the race. Tries around the outside of turn 1. Does this work? It might just work as he does pull ahead and he actually gets the move done. So Rick is up into 10th. Quite a bit of battle from them from previous lap coming to this one here, as you know, actually gets that move done. And he's going to try to get ahead as much as he can here. Down in the back here. See what's happening with Tito and Braden at the moment. A pretty close gap with Tito and NB racing out in front as these two are trying to just hold their positions as it is. Of course, Tito trying to get ahead. So we got Braden a bit ghosted down in the back there. Not sure what's happened to his car. What's happened to his connection onto the lobby here. Might be having some issues with that, but either way, let's follow on, see what's going on at the back of the grid here. So the Alpine, of course, chasing after the Aston Martin, only a 410 gap. He is going to be looking for some part of the track to get an overtake done, but he seems to be losing some time there. And of course, we're going to go back up the field a bit here. Womack's not the best of start. I think he started in the midfield. He's now down to the back of the grid in 16th and running. I think he took a pit stop though. He's on fresh medium tires at the moment. Let's get rid of that for now. Those, of course, are position changes we can see happening. Tino's gained the most in this race so far. 10 positions gained. Looking to run a pretty good race himself there. So let's see how that's actually going to work for him. Let's see, does the Alpine catch up to the Aston Martin here down that straight? And that advantage is so great going through. The Alpine actually slips by. But still a bit side by side with the Aston Martin will be racing, so I don't think he gets the position done right away. But he does close the gap quite a bit as he continues to try and go side by side with him. We'll have the inside on the next turn. So does he get the move done here as they're still holding off? Nope. Still has to just hold his position as where it is. It's only a 10th between the two of them, so this might change as we continue in this race. There are a few closer gaps out in front as well as we're trying to keep an eye on Ghost and the Ferrari that's chasing after him for the lead of this race. We're already on a lap of 4 of 36 here for the Mexican Grand Prix. So far, quite an amazing start from the drivers. I don't think we had any major incidents happen, but maybe some minor incidents. We have had a few contact with cars fighting for positions so far through this race session here. So these two cars are going to continue with that for just a bit more. We're going to go back up further up the field. There is Blair right about now chasing after a Red Bull in front of him. And go back up on top with Orange running currently P3. Does he improve his gap that he has with that Ferrari there? Not so much, but does get a bit closer here. You can see the McLaren of course out in front, where he's who he started just alongside of. Speed Alcoholic, of course, running back at P4 at the moment. SW gets a penalty. Not going to help his finishing positions here. We'll see how that works for him though. But yeah, Ghost still leading this race. The Ferrari there running second. Orange running in third. There's a 410 gap, and then of course got bit of a battle with MX here and Speed Alcoholic as these two try to go side by side. Looks like Alcoholic holds it off in fourth. MX in the Haas, he's definitely trying to get by. He has some problems though. Tino's and SW coming so close behind him. I think the Aston Martin is a bit more troublesome at the moment for him in terms of he needs to get away from him and increase that gap, close his gap much more to the McLaren in front if he really wants to get a position ahead here. I think he just wants to get ahead to get away from the Aston Martin, of course, and of course he knows there's a Red Bull coming behind as well. We'll be able to actually see him in range there. It looks like Orange under some pressure out in front there because he now gets a penalty as well. Let's have a quick look what's happening because the gap out front with the top three is so close between them, but the close holding on to that lead. Life fairly chasing after him. Orange, of course, 2-10 gap now down to a 10th. He's going to pull it along the inside of turn 1 on the Ferrari and try to get that overtake done. He does get the overtake. Of course, he recently just got a penalty, a 3-second penalty that will definitely affect his race here. So that's going to be something to have an eye on coming down to the end of the session because it will be added on to his race time. Unless he can get a 3-second gap to the car running behind, he will not be able to hold the position he crosses the finish line in on lap 36. But at the moment, our top three still separated by just a few tenths between each car here. A car to a car length at least. 2 car lengths maybe. As I keep on going with this, we know we still have a few closer gaps down the order of the field. You got MX still chasing after Speed Alcoholic there. It's still a 410 gap as that has not giving up the chase right now. Really pushing to see what he can get done. The top three so close with each other through this race, and I think this will continue until they get to the pit stop rotations, and that maybe that is going to change the order up just a little bit. As we now head into lap 7 with our top 3 drivers here in the race. Ghost leading, Orange running second now, Live running third. Have a look down the order, see what's happening with Tino's here, trying to catch up with the Haas of MX in front of him. It's only a 310 gap, but of course MX are chasing after the McLaren in front right now. So I think, I'm not sure, our driver is more focused on the cars in front of them, or worried about the cars behind of them, or just both at the same time. Looks like we're having a bit of a penalty situation here at Mexico, because our third penalty there added on to our driver. So Orange, Speed Alcoholic, and Dave, currently 3 drivers in the race with penalties at the moment here on track. And of course, we did mention in qualifying, very easy here, especially in sector 2, to invalidate a lap. And of course, cutting the corners will give them warnings here during the race session, but after taking 3 attempts, yeah, you're definitely going to be getting a penalty after that. I see the gaps still keeping as close as they are at the moment. Looks like we have something happened on track with Dave, and we got probably a full safety car for that there. Gonna have a look right now. Yep, there is Dave at the side of the track there in the Red Bull. So something's happened to him, and that of course has caused a full safety car to come out. This of course is going to trigger some pit stops out in front. We got a race leader in the pits already, as he just made it around just in time. The Ferrari of course did not take a pit stop though. He's going to continue out in front, continue on in the lead of the race. It's lap 8 of 36, as we got Ghost going on to a set of hard tires. I believe he did. Yep, he has gone to the hard tires there, which we're not 100% sure. Is that going to make it all the way to the end of the race? Is that the race strategy, or is he going to be doing one more stop, maybe to a set of softs, coming closer off somewhere to the end of the race session, or hope for another safety car around that point and just get a free pit stop to switch it on over again? But either way, Life holds on to the lead now. Speed Alcoholic now moves up to second, as he didn't take a stop. Eatman takes third place now in the race, as he didn't take a stop either. They're all behind the safety car. Ghost now running fourth. Orange took a stop. He's in fifth. Got LB Racing up into sixth. Peter now running seventh. Tino's in eighth. Braden up into ninth right now from where he started. MX now running 10th. Got Rick 11, Blair in 12, Rumax in 13, SW in 14, Sapara running 15, and of course Dave out of this race session, which is what caused this current safety car that we're running here. So overall, guys, has been an interesting session so far from the start of this race to this point. Fortunate for one of our drivers being out. We still got 15 drivers left in the session. We're gonna have to hold it off just a bit and see if we can have all 15 finish this race. Currently lap 8, maybe around lap 10 or so, we're probably gonna get this race back on the way again. We were supposed to get the standings up on screen during maybe a safety car in the session. Did forget to add that on to our stream, so we're not going to be having that this week. Apologies about that. We'll have that coming from next week. I'll get us sorted through so we can have current constructors and driver standings up on screen during safety cars in the race session and during the qualifying session as well. So yeah, gonna make things a bit more interesting for that there as we get around. So currently lap 9 of 36 as they still follow on behind the safety car. And I'm gonna take a 30-second break. Be right back, guys. Alright, there you go, guys. So we're gonna have the safety car go in on this current lap, get back racing into lap 11. Let's see how the safety car restart goes. Of course, we got a Ferrari leading the grid there right about now, as he will be the first one to get back going. Has the McLaren, of course, the Speed Alcoholic right up to the rear of him. It may just see Williams just behind. Ghost, who was our previous race leader, just behind that as well. And a bit of a spin. Did they have contact there? That's going to be investigated definitely by the stewards at the end of this race. Did Speed Alcoholic and Live had contact as they went around that final turn there? That's going to be investigated. I'm not sure what happened there. They might have had some minor contact, or did he just lose the rear of the car? We'll find out a bit more about that further on in the session. But they're back racing again as Speed Alcoholic now takes lead of this race and continues on in front. Just behind him is the Williams. It might just goes his teammate, now running in third with that Ferrari out. Well, not out, at least down back of the grid. Might as well be out now. He's already down to 13th. He still can't make a comeback here. Only on lap 11 or 36. Has enough laps to get this done. Might have to hope for another safety car here or something else to happen. We'll see what's going to happen though. But yep, didn't work the best. So he might have lost the rear. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if they were close enough to have contact there. I don't think Speed Alcoholic actually had contact with him. He might have just lost the rear there on acceleration, trying to get back started on the race. But either way, let's have a look at the rest of the grid here. Goes chasing after that Williams there, looking pretty good so far as the House of Orange comes down behind. Previously, who was running second there, so let's see the two can get back out front, as they are just gonna have to wait for these two drivers in front of them to take pit stops right now. Tito gets a penalty. Speed Alcoholic, of course, still holds on to his penalty that he has. Eatman does. And Speed Alcoholic, we're waiting for the two of them to take a pit stop here as Ghost chases after the Williams. Is he going to get by him in turn one? He might try for a move on the inside, and we have the Williams trying to move on the inside there as well, as he now takes it. Might have to outbreak him to actually get this move done. He's going to try to hold it on the inside. Goes around for turn 2 and just holds back on the racing line. They're not going to push it too much. He knows he's not barely battling that car, but he doesn't want to get ahead because he does have Orange, of course, chasing after him. Will give him some breathing room if he can get past the Williams and keep Orange behind them. And let's see if that's going to be the case though, because he made us really trying to keep his position until he takes that pit stop there. He's held on to second place so far. Let's see for how much longer he can hold it. Gonna have a look at the rest of the grid as well. As pretty close gaps as we continue on in this Mexican Grand Prix, and lap 12 at the moment. Gap is coming down just a bit. Williams is gonna be in trouble, because I'm quite sure the McLaren will be able to get by. Of course, fresher tires on him as well. That's definitely going to be helping. Orange, of course, chasing behind very, very closely. And we got both Aston Martins 5th and 6th on the grid at the moment and running in this race, and they're definitely looking to get some good positions at the end of this. DRS now coming back online as we go into lap 13 and continue racing. It's a second between Speed Alcoholic and Eat My Dust, and of course the Williams, we know, is under a bit of pressure right now with the next McLaren of Ghost that's chasing after him on the inside again into turn 1. Will the move actually work on this occasion, as he's still trying to get it done? Doesn't look like the Williams is allowing that to even happen here. So he's held up the position so far. There goes the switch, and the side-by-side still, actually, the Williams is trying to push on through, but has to just hold back to the racing line. He's going to try for a move on the inside. Does he get it on? No, he does not. And we continue on with this race as the McLaren still tries to hold on out in front. I think he's really pushing on those tires as well. He's really definitely trying to keep that position until he takes a pit stop here, because he knows losing that position will actually cost him some time in the pits and might even cost him a position in the race when he gets back out. So he's really trying to hold off on that, but not working too well. Orange, of course, in a bit of trouble now. He's going to try to get by the Williams as well to follow on with Ghost, because he wants to keep a close gap with that McLaren, because that's who he's going to be battling for the race win this evening here, if he can get past him. Let's see the gap still as close as it can be there. I'll quickly look down at the back, and well, midfield of the grid here with we got Speed Alcoholic into the pits. That goes back into the lead of this race. The Williams still running out in second. He's not taking his stop as yet. Orange now up into third. Tino's running fourth. We got a few more pit stops happening in the midfield. Rick now moves up into 6th. MX in front of him. And of course Tito now running behind, so a bit of a change with that. We got a Mercedes trying to move along the outside. Looks like we got another full safety car here, or is it a VSC at this point? But there's triple wave yellows around along the track. I believe it is another full safety car. SW is out of the race. That's both Red Bulls taken out of the Mexican Grand Prix. It is a full safety car. Unfortunate for the team. So both Red Bulls taken out of this race so far. That's going to be 0 points for constructors for them. And of course, Drivers' Championship not going to be helping that as well. Got now 14 drivers that's remaining in the session. We're on lap 14 of 36. We're approaching the halfway point of this race, at least by the time we get the safety car restart going. Let's see how many more pit stops we might have happen here. I see the pit stop situation was there we go. So Ethan is probably the only driver that hasn't taken a pit stop as yet. Currently running second. We know he has to take a stop, so I think he would have wanted to take it during that safety car, but I think they possibly were already across past the entry point to the pit lane. This is live on the tires right about now. It's a 13 laps done on those hard tires that he's running on, but he's running a long stint here, so he can run for quite a bit more before actually taking up pit stop. Looks like Tito is on 13 laps on those tires as well. They haven't taken a stop. It's a 3-second penalty for 3 drivers that have penalties. Position changes, 12 for Tino's. Of course, we know he's gained the most position in this race so far. Continue on through with that. Let's see what the grid order is going to be as after we get this race on the way back again. Alright guys, here we go. So the safety car period ending here right now. So we're about to get back racing, going into lap 16. Barely even noticed that was happening. Let's have a look on board with Ghost here. And of course, Eat My Dust running second behind of him. Old tires, of course. Let's see how the tires work for him to keep up with the McLaren in front. Seems like he's doing a decent job so far. And let's have a look on the overhead cam as they head into turn 1. Tina's, of course, pretty close gap on Orange here. Under pressure right now. Does he keep that position in P3? So I'm going to definitely sure that Aston Martin is going to try for an inside move. Doesn't actually have enough room to actually do it, but he's stuck between 2 Haas, so not a really great place to be as MX is coming behind of that. The next McLaren Speed Alcoholic just behind him 6th. Peter running 7th, LB Racing running 8th, Banter Braden in 9th. And some pretty close gaps on those top few drivers that we have there. There we go with the Williams trying for a dive on outside or inside. I'm not sure what he just did, but he tried for a move to get into the lead of the race. He worked for a split second and then he lost quite a few positions as he's now fighting with the next McLaren for a position. He's down into 5th right now. Those tires, I think he might have outbraked himself on that turn, which is what happened there. We got Ghost, of course, still leading the Grand Prix at the moment here, and we got Orange now running second as he's been for quite a few laps now. Tina's, of course, now running 3rd, and Speed Alcoholic is only a 10th behind him, of course, trying to get that position away if he can. lost a bit of time there, so let's see how he continues on with the front order of the grid. At the moment, looking pretty good. Ghost, of course, leading pretty well. His teammate in third, trying to catch up to him in DRS range of Orange now. So when that comes back online, he's going to have that advantage. Of course, at the moment, he has to take the advantage of just the slipstream down that starts from his straight into T1. Yeah, possibly not as close as you would like here, so not going to be able to make a move. Tino's, though, much closer gap that he has. He might try to move on the inside. He gets close enough to the McLaren. Doesn't look like he does, though. As at the moment, we got Live there currently running 8. Bit of unfortunate restart on the previous safety car we had for him there, as he was leading on that. So Tito and Blair trying to follow on behind him. So still some pretty close gaps. Let's go down the order. Switch back up front actually with Orange and 2 McLarens. I want to see how this works out with them. You know, Speed Alcoholic is trying to get up in the second here to follow behind his teammate, because I think the McLarens are trying to get a 1-2 finish here at Mexico. It could possibly happen, but Orange might actually ruin that party for them. Let's see if he's going to keep his position second or possibly get ahead of the next McLaren there and get a pole position finish here for the Mexican Grand Prix. I think he definitely would enjoy having that. Either way, in the meanwhile, let's go down to LB Racing here in the Aston Martin. He's chasing after the Haas of MX, really trying to gain a position. Let's see if the run down to turn 1 helps, as DRS is now online. Going to be a bit of advantage for quite a few drivers here, as they're within a second of the car in front of them on board with the Aston Martin. Let's see how close can he get to the Haas. That suits me advantage. Very, very strong at this point, working to help him. And I think he might try to move for an inside, but I'm not sure if he wants to try this. He might have to outbrake the Haas a bit. Not enough room, doesn't want to take the chance of having contact with the driver, and I think he's just going to hold this car there in 7 for now. He's going to try again, possibly into the next turn. Let's see how this goes. It's a bit of a run down into that turn as well, but the Haas seems to be getting away, not closing the gap as much as he would like, but he's trying to keep it right there where it is. We got a Alpine of Rumax is chasing after the Ferrari Blair right now. It's well over 10th between them now, extends about 3/10. I think it's going to continue on that way. There's Live down at the back here in the Ferrari. He's about 3/10 behind the Mercedes of Rick. He's still been at it for a little bit in this race as well. As they now continue lap 18 of 36. Let's call that the halfway point of this race. They've got another half of the race to go. Got the gap extending just a bit there. Let's get back out in front though with our top 3 drivers right now as they go down the start finish line again into lap 19. 3/10 is the gap between 2/10 is the gap between Ghost and Orange, as the McLaren goes defensive right now and forces the Haas on the outside into turn 1, almost going off the track to do that. And looks like Orange still gets up into the lead here. Might be a big change in the race for him if he was able to hold on to it, but the McLaren coming back alongside him is going to be a little drag race down into the next turn. We got the next McLaren, Speed Alcoholic, current come alongside him as well. Might be a 3-1 going into that turn, which it is, and looks like the Haas holds it out. He keeps the lead, fighting against 2 teammates here. Not an easy move that he's doing. It looks like Speed Alcoholic are getting ahead of his teammate now. I think tires might just be a bit more fresher, giving him a bit more advantage here, but either way, they're both fighting around that Haas to get ahead into the lead of this race. Orange going to have a lot of work to do here. He needs to build some sort of gap. Speed Alcoholic feeling that pressure as he now gets a 3-second penalty for cutting corners on track. Goes down into third. I think he's just composing himself back to get into, and then going to try to get back that lead once again. Live gets another 3-second penalty down at the back here. So we got a few drivers with penalties in this race. Of course, we know that's going to affect them. Ghost probably already knows about the penalty situation for Speed Alcoholic and Orange here. So let's see how he's going to react to that there. Tino's 1.7 seconds behind this battle here. Let's see how that works. The Haas really trying to get away here. He's going to have to defend against Speed Alcoholic now, does he? And here he just forces him around the outside. Let's see if that move is going to work. Looks like Alcoholic is up ahead into the lead. Somehow he's done it. He's gone ahead and taken away the lead of this race, which his teammate previously held. It got taken away by the Haas. It's now up to him to hold on to it. For the McLaren team here, Gat Ghost is now going to try to get past that Haas, and let's see if that's going to work or not. So with a 4-10 gap between them. Rumax trying to get ahead of Blair here. Let's have a look at the back and see what's happening with this at the moment. These guys out front will be trying to close their gaps. over the course of the next few laps there. Currently on lap 20 of 36. We got about 17 laps remaining here, or 16 and a half laps actually. 8-10 gap right now, so gaps are extending just a bit. Let's go back to Eat My Dust, chasing after the Aston Martin, of course, of Tino's. Side by side with him. Does he get this move done? He has the Aston Martin, of course, chasing very close behind. Got MX coming very close behind that. His teammate LB Racing a few tenths behind there as well. But going excellently well for him as he's trying to hold off P4 here. 3.2 seconds, of course, to catch up to the McLaren in front. And, of course, that's to get get onto a podium position, which doesn't seem to be that easy right now as these four are fighting their own battles at the back here. And of course, our battle being fought for P4 in the grid. There goes Aston Martin looking for a move on the inside, but not possible. Out in front, they're still within a second of each other, the top three and running. Those of the top three is only one without a penalty. We got incident happening somewhere on track there, I think with, looks like it's with Scaparo. He might be getting back going there right now. Might have had a spin on that final turn, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's switch it back down to the Aston Martin of LB Racing. His teammate 2 positions up in front of him. Got a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. Something's happening in the back here. It might have been an incident with life possibly there. Either way, we're still running good, pretty good in this race here as we got a Haas stuck between 2 Aston Martins right now. Definitely trying to get out of that, but it's going to be a bit difficult. Or we can see do have a Williams in front. That's Eat My Dust there. Of course, we know these 4 are fighting for P4 at the moment. Out in front, our top 3 fighting for the lead of the race. Some pretty good battles throughout the grid order so far. Our few guys are in the back grid start to form a bit of a gap between each other right now. I think that's from Blair going back. Of course, Rumac seems to be in DRS advantage here. It looks like the there was a bit of a switch that just happened there. So MX gets a pass. The Aston Martin of Tino's. He's up into P5 right now. Only a second towards the Williams in front of him. So he's lost just a bit of time. He's trying to catch up as much as he can. Tino's though keeping a pretty close gap. It's only about 3 tenths between him and the Haas. So I think he's going to try to keep that going as much as he can. Wants to get back in position in this race. Really doesn't want to give it up. As we're gonna be coming down to the ending portion of the race pretty soon, as we're only on lap 22 of 36. Looks like we got Scaparo into the pits there. Not sure if he's retiring or trying to do a pit stop. We've lost 2 Red Bulls so far from the race. Unfortunate for the team. Got the Aston Martins chasing after each other right now as they're about battling each other for P6. Let's see if Team Martyrs are at play here. Out in front is still within a second for most of those drivers there. Goes losing some time right now. 2.3 seconds is what his time is. Is he going into the pit lane though? He might be taking a pit stop. No, he's not. He's actually continuing on. But for some reason, he's lost a bit of time here. Got Tino's alongside that Williams right about now, trying to get ahead. He is getting ahead. He gets ahead onto the racing line, and before they even get into turn 1, so he's now into P5. And of course, the Williams are going to have to chase after him. Elder Racing come behind of that. And yeah, let's see how this continues on. Pretty good battle going on for P4. So it looks like it's a side-by-side battle with the Williams and the Aston Martin of LB Racing around the back there for P6. The Blues are trying to go at it. Let's have a quick look at what's happening with that. On board with the Aston Martin of LB Racing right now. And he loses a car. That's him into the barriers. There definitely be a full safety car. He's still stuck on track there. Unfortunate for what just happened to the Aston Martin, but that's one of them out. His teammate is still in this race. It's triple wave yellows all around the track. Definitely another safety car. This might play into the advantage of some of these drivers here as we have a few pit stops happening. Speed Alcoholic and Orange into the pits. Goes not doing a pit stop. He's going to continue on out in front. Takes back the lead of this race. Of course, this is still behind the safety car now on lap 24 of 36. Is he going to hold it out all the way to the final lap of this race on that set of tires there, or is he hoping for another safety car after this one to take a free pit stop? We'll see what the situation is going to be. Blair now takes up second position. Rick is up into third. Speed Alcoholic, I think he's back out on track already, running P4. Orange running P5. MX in 6. Not bad. The Braden goes in P6. MX looks like he's going to be out in 7. We'll have a look at what the order is when they do finish the pit stops there. Oh yeah, a bit of a change up in the grid order there following that safety car. That's come out due to the Aston Martin LV Racing losing the wheel and putting the car straight into the barriers on the side of the track. That was in sector 2, was it? I think it is. I paid attention where it was. Yeah, so we have lost 3 drivers from this race session so far. We started off at 16, we still got 13 in it, so I think it's going pretty well so far, and we have had some exciting battles from lap 1 coming all the way to lap 24. We should be able to get back restarted pretty soon, have at least 11-12 lap maybe of racing to go before we close off this Mexican Grand Prix here. And it has been such an interesting session so far. Okay, so there we have a safety car is now going to get back into the pit lane. We're about to get this race underway again as we now have Ghost back into the lead here on lap 26. We're heading into lap 27 to get the race underway again. Blair in the Ferrari in second, Speed Alcoholic as Ghost's teammate in third, Orange running fourth at the moment, Brighton in fifth, MX6, Tino 7, Eat My Dust in 8, Womax 9, Tito in 10th, Life in 11, Sapara 12, Rick 13th at the moment. Let's see how the restart goes with our top 3 at least. And we know we got a few drags going to be chasing after them down into turn 1 as they should be heading back going, and they do get back going there right now. Looks like Speed Alcoholic gets a pretty good run after that restart there. He's going to try to go side by side with the Ferrari here, side by side with his teammate going on through, and it's 3 wide going into turn 1, and it's going to be quite interesting if they don't collide here. They don't actually have enough room. They're giving each other enough room, and looks like Orange tries to get in the middle of that as well. His teammate following on behind of him. So both McLarens running together. We got both Haas running together here. We might have actually both Williams for a second running together, which is got split by an Alpine of Womax down at the back of the grid there. So yeah, it's going quite interesting after that restart there. Out in front, Speed Alcoholic is leading this race against his teammate. Ghost is now in second. Quite an interesting restart after that. Safety car Orange now running in third. Blair in the Ferrari is down to fourth. Myself Tino's here, he's chasing after the Haas in front of him, really trying to gain a position, having a bit of a difficult time doing that right now as well. So let's see how that goes for him. Umax, of course, coming behind Eat My Dust there in the Williams. We see the Williams, of course, fighting with the Aston Martin. We get a yellow flag there in sector 3. Somebody has spun around. I think it's Eat My Dust in the Williams. He just spun around a bit. I'm not sure if he had any contact with any of the cars that he was battling with. Out in front, Speed Alcoholic takes the fastest lap there as we go into lap 28 of 36 here at the Mexican Grand Prix. Goes his teammate running behind him. Is looking to be a 1-2 finish. Just got split off by Orange out in front. Now he's between the two McLarens as he takes back second place and continues on the racing line with that. So he's going to hold that position for now. Ghost having a rough time out front trying to get back the lead. He's down to third. Blair in the Ferrari a second behind him. Not within the DRS advantage when that comes on, but looking to get into that DRS advantage as he just gains a few tenths. Actually just gained a 10 there. Out in front though, Speed Alcoholic has gained some time. 2.3 seconds is the amount of run he's gained against Orange, as Orange was battling off with Ghost, I believe there. So yeah, that's gonna do him some good in terms of keeping that race lead for just a bit more. He has a 3-second penalty, so does Orange here. So I think Alcoholic is trying to get ahead of his teammate by 3 seconds in order to keep a race win here this evening. That's going to put Ghost up into second, Orange down to third, if that order does continue just as the way it is right now, going to the final lap into this race. But at the moment, it's only a 1.5 second gap, but then Orange has a 1.6 second gap towards Ghost behind. This gives Alcoholic enough of a gap here to work with. Switching back on the overhead cams to what's happening with Tino's here, and looks like a bit of contact with the Ferrari and the Aston Martin as Blair and Tino's having a bit of contact on that final turn on a track there. Definitely worth investigating by the stewards at the end of this race. Quite sure that's going to be reported as they now get back going. They're not sure if they have any damage on those cars. The Ferrari trying to get alongside him on the inside, being pushed to the offside of the track as they get back in the middle now, and looks like the Ferrari still might have to hold off himself trying to get ahead, but he's currently up into 9th. Let's see how well that's working for him. Tino's down in 10th. Trying to keep an eye out in front. Looks like our gap is now 1 second, now just under a second between Speed Alcoholic and Orange here on lap 29 of 36. Getting in more interesting by the second as we continue on with this race. Blair getting another 3-second penalties. The Ferrari's running 7th and 8th. We got Alpine's running 5th and 6th. The Williams running 10th and 11th in this race. And of course the McLaren's trying to get up into 1st and 2nd. Being split off by Orange here in 2nd with his teammate running down in 4th. So we're looking to finish in pairs here this evening in this race to see how that's going to work. Lap 30 of 36 now as they continue on out in front. Let's have a look at the gap there, which is being broken down by Dan Haas of Orange as he closes in on Speed Alcoholic right now. Now a 3:10 gap. He might be able to get him into the next lap. That Ghost struggling a bit on track. He's now under pressure from the Haas behind of him. That's MX. They're trying to fight for that final podium position. Let's see if he's allowing to even get anywhere close in terms of getting that. Gap though breaking down as we speak. 3/10 between them. He might just be able to pull this off. Tino's trying to get ahead of the Ferrari of life right now. Has another Ferrari behind of him that he's being chased by. He needs to be a bit careful with this. Blair gets another penalty. We'll have to have a look at the penalties as soon as we hit lap 35. We'll have a quick look at the penalty to see what the situation is going to be with the finishing positions in this race. Going back up to the House of Orange as we're still in lap 30 right now. He's closing that gap so well. But definitely needs to get by. And of course, yeah, he should be able to keep the win there because Ghost now 4.6 seconds behind of Orange. So yeah, not the best of gaps there. See a much closer gap as the McLaren tries to hold off the inside line. Doesn't want to allow the Haas to actually have that advantage here. Tries to switch it back around there. Let's see who gets out ahead of this. Okay, they're still side by side, but looks like Orange has actually done it again. He's gotten back into the lead once again, beat the McLaren in terms of getting an overtake done. He's back into the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. We're on lap 31 of 36. He has another 6 laps or so to go. So can he hold off that lead for that amount of time? Seems to be a lot of laps at this point. Of course, Ghost still having a difficult time running in third, being chased by the Haas of MX, who's now getting ahead of him. Now both McLarens losing their positions here. We can't go still side by side though. He's trying to hold off his position against the Haas rival. Looks like 8 does has a pretty close gap with the Ferrari in front, still trying to fight it out for that position. Switch it on through. Actually have a look at these two with the battle that they have going on here. Now a 5-10 gap between 8 does and Life here. So we'll see him on board. As our race leaders now go into lap 32. Let's have a quick look out front to what's happening with our drivers here. We got a bit of a switch between Ghost and MX. I think they switch it back. Ghost back up into third, being chased by the Haas once again. It's only a 10th. That separates the two of them as the Haas tries to move on the outside actually. He gets the inside on the next turn. Got Ghost holding off side by side still. Looks like he has lost that position though, because MX is going to hold it off true. So I gotta say, the Haas team and the McLaren team, they're doing pretty well, holding all the top 4 spots here on the grid for this race. Bumax currently doing pretty well in P5 there as well. Tino 6, Tito 7, Ferrari's 9th and 10th, Tito Mendoza in 8th, his teammate down to 11th. Rick, the only Mercedes in this race at the moment. That's Capari there. I think it was the only Tori there as well. He's in the pits here at the moment. So these two are gonna go side by side once again. As we're currently on lap 33 of 36, we are approaching the ending point of this race, everyone. So let's see where the finishing positions are going to be in just a bit. I'm going to bring those penalties online so we can have a look. It's looking pretty good for Orange though, because he's currently holding on to the lead of this race, being chased of course by the McLaren of Speed Alcoholic, but now is 3.6 seconds is where the gap is. He has a penalty, but he's going to be able to hold on to that lead, I assume, with the penalty situation as it was before. If it stay the same, we'll have a look in just a bit. Ghost, of course, running third now, 5.8 seconds behind his teammate, so he's lost a bit of time. Tires, of course, going on him, but still should be able to finish on the podium here. Got MX there running in fourth. He's only, well, he's within a second, within DRS range of the McLaren, but he could still potentially try to get ahead and possibly have a 1-3 finish for the Haas team. Instead, it might just be a 1-4 if he doesn't get that done. Womack's, of course, running P5, being chased by Tino's in the Aston Martin. It's a pretty close gap, along with the Williams behind of that. Looks like our race leaders have already entered lap 34 here. Closing up laps by laps here, as we should be into the final lap pretty soon. Have a look at Tino's here, is chasing after Womack's in the Alpine. Only a 2:10 gap between them. See how much more close he can get with the gap. There goes Tino's, tries to get past the Alpine. Holds that position pretty well so far. We can see the Williams of APPF1 coming so close behind. Once again, guys, we are still on lap 34, about to get into the penultimate lap here. We're going to bring the penalties situation online. You guys can have a look on what's been going on in the session with that. You see those two behind still fighting for positions there. On the Alpine's rear wing right now, you can see the Williams and how much closer he's actually getting. So Tito gets another 3-second penalty. Let's switch penalties online for just a bit here right now. So position gains, looks like Tino's has gained the most position in this race. We might be looking at a potential driver of the day here. Stops, we know everyone's taking their stops already. Tires as they are at the moment, looks like Ghost running on the hards. 27 laps sold, Speed Alcoholic and Orange on softs, both 11 laps sold right now. So we have following up the battle between Womack's, APPF1, and of course Tino's out in front of them. Three of them fighting here, of course, so P5 at the moment. Let's bring the penalties online. It's a 6-second penalty actually for Orange, 6 seconds for Speed Alcoholic, and it's a 5.3 second gap, 5.4 seconds now between Speed Alcoholic and Ghost. So it's gonna be between the two of them. Depending on what that gap is, that's who's going to be taking second, who's going to be taking third. But it looks like it's going to be a 2-3 finish for them. Looks like Orange is going to be finishing on pole position here for this race. Okay, so definitely be able to get it, because he does have a 6-second penalty along with the same 6-second penalty that Speed Alcoholic has. So, and I think there's just the gap between him and Ghost is a little too much for them to try and get a position away from Orange at this point in the session. I think we just entered into the final lap here of the Mexican Grand Prix with APPF1 racing Tier 1 drivers. And we're now on with the race leader here, that's Bully Orange, as he continues on 5.1 seconds ahead of the McLaren of Speed Alcoholic, who's running second, Ghost running third. And of course, those McLarens, we're looking at a switch between the two of them for the finishing positions with a gap, what it is there right now. Looks like APPF1 does currently 6-second penalty as well, so he's going to move down one position, as two other drivers behind Womack's also have 6 seconds of penalties. Rick with a 3-second, Life with a 6 seconds, Paro with a 3-second as well, but he's running dead last at the moment. So we'll probably finish right there in 13th as it is. So we got a situation with a Ferrari on track here. So that's one of the Ferraris out, is it? Haven't seen anything happen as yet, so either way we're gonna let that be. But there we go, we had Orange, who started, I believe he was second on the grid, and is now gonna get around that final turn there and go across the line. Takes pole position here for the Mexican Grand Prix. Not a bad finish for him. Speed Alcoholic started a bit further down. He now gets across the line second, but his teammate coming 4 seconds behind him crosses the line third, but takes away second place on the podium because of that 6-second penalty that Speed Alcoholic held on to there. MX, of course, finishing 4th on the grid. Gatinos is going to take 5th. APPF1 looking like he's now down to 7. Tino's now down to 6. Womack's now takes 5th, as we got a bit of an accident party happening across the line there. We got Tito in 8th, Blair takes in 9th. It looks like we'll have Rick taking the position after that. We'll have to look at the results now, as we're just having a look what was happening on track there. And let's see where our driver of the day award went to. And of course went to Tino's there, gained a lot of positions in this race session. Okay, so there is our results here for the Mexican Grand Prix with APPF1 Tier 1 drivers. We got Fully Orange here taking a excellent win for his team there, and of course gets the fastest lap there as well. The McLaren guys second and third on the grid here for that. We got MXR finishing 4th, Wumax in 5th, Tino in 6th, we got Ipmeda 7th, Tito Man in 8th, Blair in 9th, Rick 10th, Braden of course 11th, Scaparo 12th, Life 13, LB Racing 14. I think a few drivers who didn't get the finish from LB Racing downwards, unfortunate. SW and Dave there 16th. So that's the results for the session, guys. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Have a look at the stream schedule on the Twitch channel. Same thing happening on YouTube. So of course this race portion of the stream will be available on our YouTube channel in just a few hours time. So do have a look at it there as well. And thank you guys for joining on the session. Please guys, make sure you do follow us here on Twitch. I'll see you guys on for the next stream.